Welcome back to the Sports Desk with Ryan Potts. I'm Splash and Jack Mitchell. As you can see, my name on the screen is Depression. Jack, tell the world why Ryan is depressed.
Let me just go ahead and pull up the tweet from Mr. Shefty, Adam Schefter himself, so I can get the whole. Okay. Kansas City is trading its first-round pick Thursday night, along with 3 other picks in the 2021 and 2022 drafts, to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for Pro Bowl offensive tackle Orlando Brown and 1 pick in the 2021 draft and another pick in the 2022 draft.
Yeah, pretty much.
There you
go. So let me first talk about Orlando Brown for a second. So
he's going to go off, by the way, just so you guys know.
We'll be here. If you want to skip through, if you're watching this on playback, skip about 15 minutes.
Like 90% of what you're going to hear next is going to be Splash rambling about this. So,
like, if you like hearing Jack's voice, tune in later in the show. If you like hearing my voice, you're welcome. Alrighty. So here's my thing. Orlando Brown. I said it yesterday on the show on Time Out With You Stadium that I understand that you want to play left tackle. I get it. I understand. Your dad played left tackle with the Ravens. I get it. I'm not going to trash you because you want to follow your dreams. That's something that's admirable, and I think you're a good role model for that. And it's not that you wanted left tackle money per se. It's not that you wanted the recognition of being left tackle. It's your dad played left tackle for the Ravens. I understand, and that's all that I'm going to say. I admire you as a role model. I made an account on U Stadium called Orlando Brown in honor of you. And thank you for playing 3 years for the team, going to 2 Pro Bowls, leading us to 3 of our best teams ever in franchise history. And thank you. And I understand the NFL is a business. This is nothing against you. I'm not even trashing the part of the trade that I think involves you. I'm trashing the rest of the trade. So thank you, Orlando. You are a great player. Best of luck in Kansas City. Obviously, I hope you don't win a championship because I hope Baltimore wins those championships. But I hope you have lots of personal success, lots of Pro Bowls, maybe some All-Pros, unless Ronnie Stanley has anything to say about it. I wish you nothing but the best. With that said, the compensation for Orlando Brown, I think of it as in 2 parts. So the first-round pick Kansas City sent, number 31 overall on the draft on Thursday, I think of that as the compensation for Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown to Kansas City, number 31 pick to Baltimore. I think that's fine. Would I have liked more? Absolutely. I thought we could get maybe the 13th pick out of the Chargers, the 20th pick out of Chicago, the 21st pick out of Indianapolis.
I think you'd mentioned it on the show before that there was a possibility that he could go to the Chargers for an early pick. So
yeah, I was hoping it'd be a little bit more than the 31st pick, but at the end of the day, it is a first-round pick, so I'm fine with that. And even if it had been the say 13th pick, you're probably giving up more later. You know, you're probably like swapping first. You're doing something so the Chargers aren't just straight up giving you a first-round pick. Anyways, in my head, I'm going to think of this as 2 trades. Orlando Brown for the number 31 pick. Totally fine with that. Would I have rather him gone to a team other than the Chiefs? Absolutely. But I'm okay with that. This is where I get particularly irritated. What about the rest of the trade? Baltimore sends the number 58 pick in the second round to Kansas City. They get the 94th pick, a 4th-round pick, and a 2022 late-round pick. What are you doing, Eric DaCosta? What drugs are you on? How much cocaine did you do last night? I cannot put into words. This is a draft that has been lauded by just about everyone that it's very talent heavy at the top. There's lots of good players. You can get starters in the second round. You can get starters early in the third round. You're not getting a freaking starter at 94. What are you doing? At 58, remember last year you took Dobbins at 55 and you had the pick at 60 that I would have liked you to take Josh Uche. You could have taken a good player at 60, but no, actually Maybe Uche went right before. But anyways, Uche was right around there. So at 58, you can get a good player. This year's draft class might be even deeper than last year's, and you can get a good player on day 2. You can get a starter, whether it's wide receiver, edge, center, offensive tackle now, whatever. You can get a good player at 58. I can do a mock draft right now, and the Chiefs are going to get a good player at 58. Why are you trading that pick? I understand the accumulation of assets later in the draft. You get 94. You didn't have a third-round pick because you sent that to Minnesota for the Yannick Ngakoue trade. I get that. But why are you getting a third and an extra fourth for a second? Baltimore, what are you doing? Why? I am a huge proponent of trading down, especially when your team is talented as Baltimore, but you don't trade down 36 slots, and you don't even get that great a compensation. I mean, if you want to trade down, the Chiefs had another second-round pick. So you're looking at the draft now. The Ravens have the number 27 pick and the number 31 pick. Guess what the Chiefs have? They have the number 58 and the number 63 pick and Orlando Brown. Which would you rather have? Either rather have Orlando Brown in 2 seconds than not Orlando Brown in 2 firsts. Like, I understand the Ravens can get probably top 20 to 25 players with how many quarterbacks are going to go and some edges that are going to go that I don't necessarily think are first-round talent. I understand that, although Baltimore probably takes one of the edges that I don't think is a first-round talent because that's how the world works. Anyways, I understand Baltimore can end up with 2 top 20 players, whether that's pipe dream, Rashad Bateman and Tevin Jenkins, or Bateman and Trevon Moehrig, or Jenkins. You get the idea. Baltimore can get 2 talented players, but why are you screwing up the rest of the draft? If you're at 58, trade down a couple spots. Trade down 5 spots to Kansas City if you want and accumulate more assets later in the draft. I am at a loss of words to describe my annoyance at Baltimore trading down in the second round, down 36 slots. 36 slots. I'm doing
I think it's 36. What was it?
It was 58 to 94. I have no earthly idea why they did that. That, like, the Orlando Brown trade in of itself, I don't think the Ravens got killed. Like, 31st pick for Orlando Brown, that's fine. You know, you're giving up a Pro Bowl tackle. They have to pay him next year. So I understand people that are like, oh, Baltimore didn't get fleeced. The second part of this trade, Baltimore got fleeced. Baltimore picked your favorite verb for when you, like, in fantasy football, when you, like, get Julio Jones for, like, Willie Snead, and you fleece your opponent. Whatever word you want to use in that situation, it applies to Baltimore. Baltimore got killed in this trade. And I've said before, Eric DeCosta is a great GM. He got Calais Campbell for a 5th-round pick. He had a win-win trade with Atlanta to get J.K. Dobbins. Say what you will about running backs, but it worked for Baltimore. He had strong drafts in 19 and 20, I think. And you can say, well, they don't have this, they don't have this, they don't have that. The players are there. The Ravens have a pretty deep roster. They don't have too many spots that you can say, that just sucks. Right now, their offensive line sucks. You know, they're real-life people that I respect their opinions that said Baltimore had a good offensive line last year. That's just, you know, I'm a casual and I don't watch football. That's a take that people have. Oh, Baltimore had a good offensive line. They're a great rushing attack. No. The rushing attack in Baltimore is elite because of number 8 and Greg Roman, and J.K. Dobbins is better than Mark Ingram, and Gus Edwards is also better than Mark Ingram. So you have 2 talented backs, Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman. That's why the Ravens are successful at running the football. That's why they've had 5.5 yards a carry in 2019 and 5.5 yards a carry in 2020. At the end of the day, the offensive line got fundamentally worse, and it's to such a degree that you're really punting this season, I think. And that's at a certain point, I feel bad for Lamar Jackson. I feel bad for every player on the Ravens that's on a rookie deal. I feel bad for actually every single active member of the Ravens. I'm sorry, you have 0 chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. And say what you will about the offensive line. Oh, you're getting Stanley back. Oh, you brought in Zeiler. Oh, this, oh, that. Oh, you got rid of the trash center. I'm aware. I follow the Ravens pretty closely in free agency. Right now, the offensive line, the day one offensive line could be a little bit different from this, but it looks like Ronnie Stanley, left tackle, Bradley Bozeman, left guard or center. You probably draft a guy to play the other spot. Kevin Zeitler, right guard. Alejandro Villanueva, right tackle. I said for years Villanueva was overrated. I said for years that the only reason he's a Pro Bowler is because he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If Alejandro Villanueva played for any other team, he has no Pro Bowls, and you don't know his name. But he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, to their credit, have, one, a great social media department that gets these guys in the Pro Bowl. Two, a history of having elite linemen, Mike Webster, Faneca, Dermontti Dawson, and now David DeCastro. They have a reputation of having a great offensive line, and they generally have a very good offensive line. The problem is that's a sum of the parts, not the individual pieces. Or Alejandro Villanueva is not a good NFL tackle. Steelers fans, you were led astray. You were bamboozled. You were run amok. You were fooled by Alejandro Villanueva, because your social media team got him into a couple Pro Bowls, and you say, oh, well, he made the Pro Bowl. He's probably good. It's the Eric Fisher treatment in Kansas City. Eric Fisher's not that good. Orlando Brown is a massive upgrade over Eric Fisher. And I didn't even think Orlando Brown was a Pro Bowl caliber tackle this year. Check the receipts. Go back. I read an article for Border Fuel that said, one, the Pro Bowl rosters suck, and two, what they should have been for the AFC. And my picks, I believe, were Laramie Tunsil from Houston, Garrett Bowles from Denver, and Jack Conklin from Cleveland. I didn't think Orlando Brown was a Pro Bowl caliber Pro Bowl caliber tackle. I understand why he was there. He played great at right tackle and left tackle, and I totally understand that. But at a certain point, it boils down to the Ravens will have two holes on the offensive line this year. Right tackle, who they currently say, oh, Alejandro Villanueva. He's not. He's not good at football. And then you're going to have left guard or center. One of those is going to be a problem spot. The other spot is Bradley Bozeman, who is painfully average at football. Then your right guard is Kevin Zeitler, who is nothing special. He's solid. He's good. He had some years that he was a borderline Pro Bowl guy, that he probably would have been a Pro Bowler. If Kevin Zeitler was on the Pittsburgh Steelers rather than the Browns or the Bengals, you know his name, and he's probably a 7-time Pro Bowler. But he played for the Bengals and Browns, and the Bengals and Browns are not relevant franchises to the level that Pittsburgh is. So you're walking into the season with All-Pro Ronnie Stanley, who, to his credit, is an All-Pro, former All-Pro, but he's coming off a torn ACL, so he's probably not going to play. He'll be solid, but not like a Pro Bowl caliber guy. Bradley Bozeman's going to have either left guard or center. He's painfully average. The other guy's going to be a rookie. Right guard is Kevin Zeitler, who is a little bit better than Bozeman, but it's whatever. And then Alejandro Villanueva, who is simply not good at football. You're telling me the best player on your offensive line is coming off a torn ACL? Now, that would have been the case even if Orlando Brown was in town. But now your second best guy is an average at best right guard, and your third guy is an average, painfully average at best left guard / center. And you're going to have a rookie who – I love Tevin Jenkins. Absolutely. I love Elijah Vera Tucker. I talked about him on my show with Justin on Monday. There are some really good players in this draft, but they're still rookies. You know, you don't automatically – you saw after Tristan Wirfs last year, the rest of the first round, Austin Jackson wasn't great by any means in Miami. Isaiah Wilson played 3 snaps. And guys that I would have taken in the first round, a.k.a. Josh Jones, didn't play a whole lot for Arizona. So there is a little bit of a learning curve when you don't have one of these transcendent prospects like Wirfs, Wills, Thomas, or Becton. This year, when you get out of Sewell, Slater, Darisaw, you can have – there's a little – maybe not a huge drop-off, but there's a little bit of like a gap. I would have Jenkins up there, Elijah Vera Tucker there. There are some really good players there, but Baltimore at 27 and 31 aren't going to have access to those. And I totally disagree with moving up, because you're not one piece away, you're multiple pieces away. You still need a good edge player. You probably need a good wide receiver. Oh, yeah, and you just screwed up the number 58 pick, so you can't even use that. So you have 2 picks in the top 90 of the draft. That is a fundamental loss for the Baltimore organization. I get that they're both top 30 or top first-round picks. I get it. I totally get it. But you fundamentally took one of your pieces away, right? You said, okay, we're going into this draft with the number 27 pick and the number 58 pick and Orlando Brown. Now you have the number 27 pick, the number 31 pick, no Orlando Brown, and no 58th pick. So I guess you can trade back from 31. Then you're depreciating the value on the Orlando Brown trade to begin with. So let's say, I know Jacksonville has a couple picks. in the second round, like 33 and 45. Let's hypothetically they trade 33 and 45 for 31. That's a terrible trade for Jacksonville, but let's say hypothetically. Then you're going to tell me that essentially you didn't get a first round pick for Orlando Brown? Okay, go ahead, Jack.
Yeah. When you brought up like what was it, 3 picks and how many in the top, like 90 or what was it?
2 picks in the top 90.
Yeah, I don't know why, and this is completely unrelated, but my mind was like, at least you're not Seattle, who has a bunch of holes to fill still, and they only have 3 total picks in the entire draft.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not great.
No, not at all.
Not great.
So I'm going to be watching day 2 of the draft. Actually, I think we go. I don't know when it starts, but I think
I think I don't remember what show it was, but I think we predicted I don't even think we talked about this on air even, but we should be live during, I think, at least the first. I don't even remember how many picks, but we'll be live during the draft. So. Okay,
yeah. Let me see the time on that. So we have day 2 NFL draft. Okay, day 2 NFL draft. Oh my goodness. It starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, so we'd be live for the first part of the round. Not like it's gonna matter because your team doesn't have a pick for a while, and my team won't have a pick until 90-4.
That's just it's gonna be our draft special, honestly. Like we're just gonna be talking all day about the first round and then watching the second round, basically. So
yeah, maybe we can get some guests on next week. I know
that would be fun. That would be.
I know. Really fun. I guess I need to read out an ad. Let me figure that out. But while I get that up, I'm going to talk about what we're doing next week. So on Thursday, we have this wonderful, wonderful draft content provided by U Stadium. They usually do like a live show in New York City. This year, of course, with COVID, there's no live show like that. But what they are doing is a virtual show online. They have some special guests. They have some NFL players, NFL prospects coming on, which would be super exciting. They also have Play Like a Jet live, or Play Like a Jet's leader guy. I'm blanking on his name. I'm sorry, Play Like a Jet. My apologies. But they will have mega fans from all across the league joining in. I'll be there. Your favorite Mr. Splash Man. Nick will be there. Brianna will be there. Everyone's favorite. Frankie might be there. But regardless, it's going to be a huge thing next Thursday following every pick. It's going to be a long show. But, yeah. So, and also make sure, check out the U Stadium app. We're doing a gigantic giveaway. So, head to the app, click on the banner click on the banner in the breaking news ticker that says Mega Mock Draft and enter your email. So I'm like rspods19@gmail.com. Actually, that's not my email. Don't worry about it. Mega Mock Draft, enter your email, and we will send you a link to enter. Now, this is like March Madness. Everyone's going to fill out their bracket. It's called the first round of the NFL draft. But you're going to fill out picks 1 through 32. Lawrence, Wilson, hopefully not Mac Jones. You get the idea. The winner of
the grand prize.
Yeah.
This is huge. This is whoever predicts the most correct.
I don't actually think it's that. I think it's based on points. So if someone gets, say, I don't know. If someone gets 31 of them right and another person gets 31 of them right, it depends on how close you are. So if you're getting if you get the 49ers quarterback correct, that's going to be some points.
Let me read these prizes off though, because these are some pretty insane prizes.
Oh, and we have new prizes. Let me fix the ticker.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, we have 6th through 10th place get chicken cutlet sandwiches.
Oh my god. I'm surprised it's that and not those pizza hamburgers we talked about last week.
Man.
Anyway, 3rd to 5th place, you get a team's draft cap. Second place, you get a jersey of your team's first pick, and the grand prize is an Xbox Series X or S, depending on your choice, or a PS5.
Yes, sir. Big prizes. And I also talked to Frankie and Nick. If you are a Rams fan, like our buddy Jack here, if you're a Seahawks fan or if you're a Texans fan, we might change around that number 1 draft pick jersey. Because I don't know about you, Jack, but I'm not sure if you really want the number 55.
I don't need it. I'm just gonna say right now, I don't need it.
I don't know. I don't even know if we're eligible.
I don't think we count.
Knowing my luck, I'll win the darn thing. And Frankie's like, "Sorry, Splash, you can't win." It's like, no.
I did it right though for once.
Exactly. Also, 6th through 10th place might win chicken cutlets. So
we'll put an asterisk next to that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I don't need a number 55 jersey. I have my custom.
Make sure you enter that. And speaking of jerseys,
this is the first. I'm gonna like lean real close to the mic here and do some ASMR. This is the first of. We're gonna go over the rule changes that were approved recently by the NFL and the NFLPA and the NFL owners. The first of them is that single-digit numbers are now available to be worn by a ton of new positions. Let me get the list really quickly, because this was a lot of people were kind of vocal about this.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady especially. Tom Brady did not like this.
Brady went to town on that one.
And I will go off about that in a second.
Yeah. I have mixed feelings about it.
I need to find here we go. Okay, so the proposal was from the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I believe somebody mentioned, I think it was Hotep. I don't remember 100%, but I remember somebody was talking about how the Chiefs kind of proposed this because they had to get so many players on their practice squad because of COVID, and they kind of ran out of numbers to give people.
Yep. And I think the Texans ran into that as well. There were a couple organizations. This is as much as we want to say, oh, well, Deebo Samuel's going to wear 1, or Hollywood Brown's going to wear 5, like these cool things. That's not the point of this. This isn't like a player's thing. Oh, we want to wear college numbers, or we want to wear like single-digit numbers. This is very much a practical. NFL has a lot of players on a roster, and sometimes you're going to have to give a non-quarterback number 4 or whatever.
This is why you see a lot of people getting like a lot of numbers don't get like officially retired. Like a lot of teams have like a ring of honor instead, because you want to like associate the player with the number, I guess, but you're just kind of honoring him instead of officially retiring the number, because eventually you're going to run out of numbers. But
yeah, like Baltimore can't retire. Like they're kind of retired. So say the Ravens draft Tevin Jenkins. He's not going to wear 75 like John Ogden did. Say they draft Trevon Moehrig. He's not going to wear 20 like Ed Reed did. So 20, 52, 75, and hopefully one day number 9 are going to be like pseudo-retired. So no one's ever going to wear it, but they would be available if need be. Right?
Yeah, exactly. So here's the new number limits. So if you're a quarterback, punter, or kicker, it's 1 through 19. Running back, fullback, tight end, or wide receiver, it's 1 through 49 and 80 through 89. Offensive line, 50 through 79. Defensive line, 50 through 79 and 90 through 99. Linebacker, 1 through 59 and 90 through 99. Defensive back, 1 through 49. By the way, Hotep did bring this up. I know that. I just found his comment, because the NFL rules are that if a player wants to change their number this coming season, the 2021 season, they have to buy out the existing inventory of jersey distributors. So they have to pay for all of that to get bought out.
Yes.
They don't have to if they give notice that they want to change their number for next season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either people pay a lot of money and change it right away, or they wait until next year and they just give an advance notice and they don't have to change it.
Absolutely. So I would think of this. I know you're a Lakers fan. So like when LeBron said he wanted to give his jersey to Anthony Davis, right? I don't even know if that's happened. I don't think it's happened.
That has not happened. So it is actually, I think, going to happen a couple years ago, or like last year, or maybe this year. I don't know. But LeBron wanted to give 23 to Anthony Davis so he could switch to 6.
Yes. Nike
said no, because they had the whole inventory of LeBron 23 Lakers jerseys, and if he suddenly switches to 6, they're outdated and it's just kind of a mess. So that I don't even know if that's going to happen. I think what they do now is Anthony Davis still wears 3. LeBron wears 6 in practice.
Gotcha. Okay.
And 23 in game. So,
okay.
Yeah. And so Tom Brady, though, was not happy about any of this.
No, he was not at all.
He went on his Instagram story and he said, "Good luck trying to block the right people now. Going to make for a lot of bad football." And then he circled the thing and he wrote the word dumb in like
okay. So
why not this is what he put. Why not let the linemen wear whatever they want too? Why have numbers? Just have colored jerseys. Why not wear the same number? Dumb at NFLPA. Tom.
Okay, this is okay. So shout out to Alex, friend of the show, I guess. Actually, enemy of the show.
Enemy of Frankie on time.
Yeah, Frankie and Alex butt heads a lot, but frenemy of the show, Alex.
It makes for good content, though. At least
yes,
I'll
it
say
does.
that.
He posted a meme. It was the Simpsons old man yells at cloud, and it was Tom Brady yelling at the NFLPA. It's like I understand where Brady's coming from. I get that he's very, very calculated, very wants to understand everything that's going on. I totally get it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I actually don't really have an issue with it. It will be more difficult, I guess, for referees to delineate who's doing this, who's doing that.
The thing that he put, though, it kind of throws me off because he said, "Good luck trying to block the right people now." Tom, you're a quarterback. Who do you have to block? Like, when I guess sometimes, like, I've seen Jared Goff do this a couple times. He was like the lead block on Robert Woods going for a run. So I guess in some specific scenarios, maybe.
Yeah,
but from a QB's perspective, it just pass to the guys wearing your uniform running down the field. Like,
it has something to do with protections. So if you have a say a corner that wears a smaller number, and it's open to linebackers too, right? Linebackers wear smaller numbers, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Linebackers. Oh, fuck! I scrolled away from the list. Linebackers can now wear 1 through 59 and 90 through 99.
Okay. So say you have a linebacker that's wearing, I don't know, 25. Well, you might think in your head, oh, that's a corner, or oh, that's a safety, but that's actually a linebacker.
Sure.
So he might be the Mike linebacker might be 25 or 4 or 7 or whatever number, and it's a little weird to me that there actually was some overlap in the past with corner or with secondary numbers and linebacker numbers. Tom Brady, you might know a certain player by the name of Devin White. He helped you win a Super Bowl. He wears number 45. Ooh, actually did it. Yeah, I did it right. Or Alex Anzalone from New Orleans, that wears 47. Alexander Johnson, who the Patriots, I'm screwing it up today, who the Bucks faced this year. Alexander Johnson wears 45. So there was some overlap between secondary numbers. Marlon Humphrey, for example, wears 44, and linebacker numbers. Devin White wears 45.
And some offensive players too, because I know Kyle Juszczyk wears 44, and someone on the Seahawks wore like 48, and I was like, shouldn't this guy be
Jacob Hollister? Right?
Hollister, yeah. And he was playing like fullback or something, or running back or whatever. And I was like, why is this guy running the ball on offense? Like, isn't 48 a linebacker number? So like, it kind of screws with your head a little bit. I just kind of looked at it. I didn't look at this too closely, so I guess thank you for pointing that out. But I was kind of thinking Tom is not happy about the single digit numbers.
Yeah.
That's single digit numbers are honestly like player preference, I guess, and like I guess what's taken and not taken. I know.
Yeah.
Cam Akers was considering going to number 3, but John Wolford just switched to number 3 because of Matt Stafford taking 9. Gotcha. Ramsey wants to wear 2. It's just.
Here's my thing. I don't actually think there's going to be many players changing. I would imagine, like, if there was a prop, I would say, I don't know what the prop number would be, but I don't think there's going to be too many guys that change. There might be some rookies that come in and decide, hey, I want to wear 1, or say Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase would kind of look bomb in number 1. Because, so Burrow wears 9. Does anyone on the Bengals wear 1? I feel like Randy Bullock wears 1.
That was a funny voice crack. I strongly recommend the number 1. It's totally not my custom jersey number or anything.
Bengals jersey numbers 2021.
Speaking of the Bengals, we'll get to them in a minute because they had a uniform change recently. We never talked about it on the show, so we're gonna do that soon.
Yeah. So let me. Yeah, these are pretty. Actually, I could probably share my screen while I'm scrolling through NFL.
We'll just do it now, but we do have more rule changes to talk about. So
there we are. Hey, oh wait, there we are. Ooh, look at those helmets.
Ooh,
that is
awesome. Clean. If they actually wore that, that would be clean.
Don't get me wrong, the Bengals can rot, but pop the $500. But baby girl, that is
spicy. That is a really good looking helmet.
I don't know how I got to collectibles. Here we are.
Here we go.
Jerseys. Shout out to NFL Shop.
Wait, is the black one the home jersey?
No. Wait, I guess it is. Yeah.
Because it says Nike Orange Alternate.
Look at that.
Dang. I actually didn't know the black one was the home jersey. That kind of changes my opinion on it.
I like that.
It's pretty clean. It's simplistic, but it's clean.
I like it a lot.
I'm now kind of realizing how similar their font is to the Rams, almost in a way. Kind of. More so the text font than the actual numbers, but
right. So I like the orange.
It's not as flashy as the Rams went for, but it's pretty simplistic. It's pretty cool. I like the curvy stripes.
I like the white. Like, I obviously want a jersey for every team at some point in my life, but Bengals jersey might take me a while to get behind. So there's that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So let me see. Wait, what was that?
You could scroll down and compare it to the old ones too.
This is the old alternate color rush.
Remember when color rush was a thing and teams would wear it every Friday or every Thursday night football game?
Here's the old orange. Here's the old black. I have a color rush Joe Flacco jersey.
Yep, I believe you've worn it on the show before.
I don't think I have.
I remember seeing you in it at one point. So might have been.
You're probably thinking of my Lamar Jackson one.
Yeah, probably the Lamar one.
Okay, so
I don't know. I don't know your full jersey collection, so I can't speak to that.
Okay, so yeah, the Bengals have new jerseys. I like.
It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade.
Absolutely, Bengals roster 2021. Because I want to see if Mr. Jamar Chase could potentially wear number 1. That'd be cool if he could. Oh yeah, Austin Seibert wears 3. Allen wears 8. Burrow wears 9. Huber wears 10. Okay, if Jamar Chase is drafted by the Bengals, I want him to wear number 1.
This is kind of like preseason-ish. It reminds me of like when I remember Sammy Watkins when he played for the Rams in the preseason. He wore number 2. So like I guess they have like relaxed restrictions during the preseason.
Yeah,
but that's because teams. Yeah, they have like a 90-man roster for the preseason, so it's crazy. Speaking of preseason, that's our next rule change. Overtime no longer a thing in the preseason. What do you think?
I'm down. Overtime in a preseason game, kind of pointless. It's like extra innings in spring training. Like, who cares? Just end it in a tie. That's fine.
Sure, that's fair. Next one. What's one that's juicy? Let me see.
The Ravens. Oh my goodness, this is probably the stupidest one. The Ravens had a proposal that you could pick where the other team starts in overtime.
Oh my god!
It's something to that degree. It's like, what?
Where would you? What? You pick where the other team starts in overtime. Where would you pick but the one? Like, what?
Yeah. Or I think it was a thing that either you had to pick where you started or the other. Let me look up the rule because it was weird. It was weird. I've never seen really anything like it. Ravens rule change proposal. Okay. A separate overtime proposal by the Ravens to replace sudden death overtime with a 7.5-minute overtime was also rejected. But here's mine. Okay, here we go.
I'm looking for like the full list. Like,
okay.
graphic somewhere that I lost.
So is Eagles and Ravens. The joint overtime proposal, often referred to as the spot and choose proposal, would have eliminated the overtime kickoff. Instead, the winner of the overtime coin toss would have chosen where to spot the ball to start overtime. The loser of the coin toss would have chosen whether to take possession at the designated spot or defer to play defense. Overtime would last 10 minutes, and the first team to score would win. Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't like a huge fan of that. Although I guess you could say having it start at your own 10-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
You might coerce a team into actually starting on their own 10-yard line, but you also run the risk of having to start on your own 10-yard line. So,
they proposed to eliminate. This is what it says on the NFL Football Ops page. Change the options for the winner of an overtime coin toss. Eliminate sudden death format and eliminate overtime in the preseason. I like getting rid of the sudden death thing. You know what I really enjoyed, and it's a shame we didn't. I don't even think we really got to see it, but the XFL had like a shootout style overtime.
mm-hmm.
That was a fun idea. Like I don't think we ever got to see it, but seeing that in action would be really cool because it
Mm-hmm.
guarantees that there won't be a tie. And it's fair. Like every team gets an equal possession of the football. So it's fair.
Absolutely.
Here's one from the Eagles. Permit a team to maintain possession of the ball after a score by substituting one. I don't know if I think this is approved, but permit a team to maintain possession of the ball after a score by substituting one offensive play for an onside kickoff attempt. So that would be a 4th and 15 from the kicking team's 25.
Yes. I am a huge fan of
That's a W.
Yeah, I love the onside kick change.
Because onside kicks, ever since the NFL changed the rule where like you have to stand still until the kicker actually kicks the ball, onside kicks have been completely failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like that would have been. I don't know if that got approved. I don't think it did, but that should have been approved. I absolutely love that.
I liked it a lot. I remember 2 years ago I wrote an article about it. It was called the Denver Proposal.
And it would definitely benefit teams like Atlanta
Let me find it.
who decide not to go for the ball. Remember that happened?
Yeah, the watermelon kick. Although they have the GOAT Younghoe Koo.
True.
So he had like 3 onside kicks in a row or something stupid like that. Denver Proposal.
Oh yeah, my team had. Go ahead, go with yours, but my team had one as well, so that's fun.
Okay, let me Denver Proposal. Action Jackson meets Hollywood. Ravens draft Marquise Brown. Okay, where's my darn article?
I'll just predictions. Should I just talk about it now?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Go ahead.
So the Rams proposed to add a loss of down for a second forward pass from behind the line and for a pass thrown after the ball returns behind the line. The reason that they're doing this is because of a specific play that happened in their Monday night game against the Bucs. They almost got burned by it because Tom Brady.
He
had like his crazy little double. He threw the pass forward. It got tipped back towards him. He caught it, and then he threw it forward again. And they called an illegal forward pass, but this was on 3rd down, and the official said it was either 3rd down and 13 or it was like 4th down and 3 if the Rams declined. And they actually declined it to force the 4th down because they thought they would be getting screwed if it was 3rd and 13. I mean, yeah, it's farther away, but A, it's Tom Brady, and B, give him an extra down to work with. So I think they did it to like make sure it stays fair. So like in the future, it would be A, you lose yards, and B, you also will lose a down no matter what. So it makes it more fair.
The Denver proposal why the NFL should contemplate change. AAF onside kick rule. A way to fix the kickoff problem. 4th and long conversion. Oh my goodness, why am I not? Okay, there we go. 4th and long conversion attempt rather than the traditional kickoff. The Chris Boswell failure was hilarious. The onside kick has become a showcase of the worst of the NFL. Adults looking like morons.
I love that sentence.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
Let's see. Where did I have anything else that was funny? A variety of I guess my negative was that people thought it would like increase comebacks, but guess what else? 2-point conversion, timeouts, 2-minute warnings. Also, unintentionally help teams generate large comebacks.
Last second timeouts. Atlanta, you should learn from this.
Yes. All right.
That was the throwback to one of the funnier moments. That was like one of the most memeable moments when Atlanta did that, when they scored their last second touchdown, which allowed it was a touchdown, but then the Lions got the ball back and they were able to drive back down the field and win the game.
Yep.
I remember Lions players were literally cheering when the Falcons scored, when Todd Gurley scored that.
Yeah. So shout out to my mom. Splash, your color rush Joseph Vincent Flacco is hanging in your closet at home. Thanks, Mom.
I love the full name usage, by the way.
Yeah, for real. Gonna head to hot takes for a second.
Let's do it.
All right,
let's juicy hot takes.
Some spicy ones. Jedi Master J, shave that beard and you might be happier. I will be happier when I shave my beard, but that would not be because I shaved.
He will shave his beard when the Ravens win the Super Bowl, right?
Or when the Braves win the World Series,
or when the
Cavs win the NBA Finals, or when the Red Wings win the.
When any of your teams win the title, you will shave.
Correct. Shout out to Nick L for loving the push. I really tried hard. I thought it'd be funny. You know, if you're gonna click on it because you know who Splash and Jack are. You know, so. The Sports Desk hot takes. Here we go. We have 12 comments. I don't think all of them are hot takes, but that's okay.
We're starting off really spicy with the first one. This is from Chef Squill. Orlando Brown wasn't good.
Okay, here's my thing there is kind of runs counter to everything I've heard so far. So the prevailing opinion that I've seen on social media is that the Ravens this offseason lost their best running back, best wide receiver, best offensive lineman, best edge rusher. I say to those people, do you watch football? And clearly the answer is no if you think Willie Snead is better than Marquise Brown, if you think Mark Ingram is better than J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards, if you think Orlando Brown is better than Ronnie Stanley. The edge one, I understand. I understand. The Orlando Brown is very good. Like I said earlier, I didn't actually have him as a Pro Bowler. I can actually find that article real quick. But AFC Pro Bowl roster, Ryan Potts. Cool. AFC Pro Bowl roster, Ryan Potts. Anyways, so I didn't actually have Orlando Brown as a Pro Bowler in oh my goodness. This year. I had him. I thought he was very good. I just didn't have him as like a Pro Bowler, you know. So
yeah. But
that.
Really realistically, and I'm gonna kind of start this debate up again, how much do we really value Pro Bowls? Because like I really started thinking about this a little bit deeper than I maybe should have, but like it just kind of occurred to me, like, how much does this game really matter? Especially like last season, we're voting for people to get into the Pro Bowl, and then the Pro Bowl is just a bunch of dudes playing Madden.
Right.
Like, so like, and then like nobody, like, there's all this hype around like, oh, this guy got snubbed, that guy got snubbed. And then the actual game comes around.
There we go.
And it's like nobody really cares about it. Like nobody gives a crap. So
yeah, like I didn't have him in my Pro Bowl roster, and I think my opinion is a little bit more valid than the Pro Bowl roster itself. So like when I think of Orlando Brown, I think of him as a very good offensive lineman, borderline Pro Bowl guy. But he is a 2-time Pro Bowler. That ends up mattering when you look at it. But if you want to say, well, you're losing a Pro Bowler, well, guess what? The Chiefs lost a Pro Bowler in Eric Fisher because there are real life people that think Eric Fisher is that good at football. He's not. But that's beside the point. I think Orlando Brown is very good. He's not as good as Ronnie Stanley, but I did have him on my top 100 heading into the 2020 season. He's going to be in my top 100 in the 2021 season. Actually, we should do a collaborative top 100 players.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. I would be more than happy to do a top 100. Can put
power rankings too.
Can put NFL Network in its place.
Yes, although I have mixed feelings about it because it is players giving.
It
their
is
opinion.
players. It is players. But at the end of the day, the NFL Network is the one that takes it all and kind of like calculates it or whatever.
Right.
I don't know if there's like some system that
Players
they
are
use.
people. People forget players are biased too. Like you can say,
True.
well, fans are stupid. I know. I have to watch fans all day, but remember these players. Some of them don't necessarily watch. There have been many cases that these guys don't actually watch the Super Bowl. They don't actually watch some of the guys across the league. And of course, they have friends in the NFL. You know, like if I don't like a Titans fan, I might be obliged to move Derrick Henry a few spots lower, right? But
Sure.
in the NFL, you might be friends with Derrick Henry. You might be friends with Adoree Jackson. You might be friends with Lamar Jackson. You know, you might see the highlights of Lamar Jackson. So when the NFL players voted Lamar Jackson as number one, I'm not saying that NFL players are stupid. Far from it. A lot of them are brilliant. But some people that probably voted for him very highly may not have watched every Lamar Jackson game. And also remember the voting was done before the playoffs, so the game against the Titans doesn't matter. But that's not the point. The point is NFL players might not watch Lamar Jackson. Remember, there are only 13 other teams that played the Ravens in 2019. That means 19 teams didn't have to study Lamar Jackson. You know, they didn't have to watch all the Baltimore Ravens film. Now, some AFC teams probably did for playoff seeding, or eventual playoff games. But you get the idea that, and these guys, some of them watch the highlights. Some of them are big fans of Lamar Jackson. They wanted to see him succeed. You know, some of them, there are a lot of ways this can go horribly, horribly wrong, you know, and I don't know. I don't think the NFL Top 100 is the most valid list. I understand it's by the players, and I get the justification. Oh, the players make it. It's obviously better than yours. I'm not saying I'm smarter than NFL players, not by a long shot. I'm not saying I understand football like an NFL player, not by a long shot. But I am saying players have biases too. So there are going to be some things that they screw up that I might not screw up, you know, because they have friends in the industry and they also have enemies in the industry. So like if you're Marlon Humphrey, there is no reason you put AJ Brown anywhere close to the top 100. There may not be a reason for you to put AJ Brown in the top 100. If you're Derrick Henry, why would you put anyone on the Ravens in the top 100? If you're a Steeler, why would you put anyone? Or if you're like David DeCastro, why would you put anyone on the Ravens in the top 100? You're not obligated to. It's not like a part of your job to actually rank the top 100 players. Pick your 20 best friends.
That would be really screwed if like they just handed you a list and like here you go, rank these guys. Like
yeah, exactly. It's like there's plenty of quarterbacks. Like how many times do we see Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo? How many times do we see these random quarterbacks littered in like the 70s, 80s, 90s? Because you're going to rank the quarterback more than the left tackle, for example.
Sure.
With that said, Orlando Brown is pretty good at football. I don't actually have the hot take-o-meter pulled up right now, but that's okay. Cowboys are trash says Devontae Smith is better than Jamar Chase.
People are like kind of going off about this. JWG saying this isn't a hot take; it's just factual. That's pretty spicy, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really I love Devontae Smith. Don't get me wrong, but Chase is just different. I know he didn't play in 2020. I get that can be a knock, but you take the traits that Chase has, and I'm not saying Devontae Smith sucks by any means. I think there are things that I think Devontae Smith will be a wide receiver one somewhere in the NFL. I think Jamar Chase will also be a wide receiver one in places in the NFL. I don't see any concern with Jamar Chase. I have one minor concern with Smith. It's beating press every single time, right? I know Justin said on the show, you can't press what you can't touch. I get it, but that's some reps. Some reps Devontae Smith will win because he has a better release. There's going to be some reps that he doesn't win and he can't win. Jamar Chase doesn't have that instant loss factor, I guess. Not really he doesn't have a a part of his game that you can say immediately takes him out of the play, right? I think just the physicality with Smith, it won't take him out of many plays, but 95% of plays he should be fine. But there's going to be a play here, a play there that Smith can't make it because of this, because of that, and I would trust Chase to make that play more often than I do Devontae Smith. But Devontae Smith is a wonderful player. I have him top 10, top 12 on my board. I don't remember right now, but great player. Moving on, we also have Justin again. The Dolphins will draft 2 wide receivers in the first round. That's a pretty spicy take.
That's pretty spicy.
That's pretty spicy.
Because I think the consensus is they're going to take a wide receiver with their first round pick. With their first round pick.
You can go Pitts. You can go Sewell.
True, they could take Pitts as well.
I mean, for the sake of this, I would count Pitts as a wide receiver, but I don't know. So we got Jake. Steel City Jake. Jalen Waddle is not wide receiver 1 material. To me, he can be a top tier wide receiver 2 for a team, but he isn't meant to be a true number 1.
Okay.
I can see it. I know his main comparison is Tyreek Hill, and I understand. I think where he's coming from.
Yeah, if you're comparing him to Tyreek Hill, you're definitely talking wide receiver 1, but I think it just depends what team he ends up on.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he ends up on a really wide receiver needy team, then he's more than likely going to be the number 1 guy.
Yeah, and I think
whereas if he goes to a team like maybe Kansas City, there you go.
Oh my goodness, I don't think they have the draft capital right now.
Yeah.
But hey, the Ravens just gave them a free 58th pick, so who knows?
Will he even last until 58? That's the real question.
Well, Jalen Waddle is going to be gone in the top 20, but whatever.
The draft, man.
I'm so excited. I'm simultaneously excited, but also like, I have to write so much, and I have to be on the draft.
The only thing I get to do for day 1 of the draft is chill and imagine that I'm going to be with the Rams and their amazing beach house that they're doing. That is... Shout out to Cliff Kingsbury, by the way. He called out Sean McVay. He called out Sean McVay and said that was an excuse for him to take his shirt off. Like he did on Hard Knocks. Which is fine with me, but...
Oh, man. Oh, that's funny. I love
the memes. Just for the memes, man.
He was like just chilling in his house, and that was beautiful. That was one of the best parts of the draft. Was 2 years ago now? Hey, the draft is going to be live in Cleveland. That's exciting. It's not going to be in Mr. Goodell's basement.
Not going to be in his basement or a million other people's living rooms or wherever the hell they want to decide to be.
Hey, did I tell you that I mailed a letter to Roger Goodell?
Did you actually?
Yes. It was for a class. I mailed a letter to Roger Goodell asking him to change the passer rating formula.
Oh, boy. I can only imagine how detailed that letter was.
Yeah, it was 1,800 words. It was for a class, so I had to be detailed. And yeah, I made a 100 on it, so I ended up with an A in my...
oh, you did it for a class?
Yeah, it was PAH 160D. Made an A. Got like a 92 in that class. So very happy.
Nice.
Speaking of very happy, baseball is back, baby. Padres, Dodgers, the Southern California rivalry.
They are in the middle of a series right now, but they played one last weekend that we mentioned on the show, and I feel like we have to recap it because holy crap, that first game.
Mookie Betts. Holy Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, too. Like, that was insane what he did.
I would post the highlight, but I don't want it to be copyright claimed. He made that ridiculous diving catch in right center because he's playing center field without... Hey, you can't hear me for a second.
I can hear you.
Sorry.
It was just
he was playing center field because Mookie Betts. He was playing center field because Cody Bellinger's hurt. Shout out to my fantasy team, which sucks because all of the players are 2022 and 2023 ETAs. That's beside the point. Mookie Betts makes this great diving catch to save game 1 or game 2 of the series.
Yeah, it was game 2. I was gonna say that wasn't even the first game. The first game, holy crap! Like it was a back and forth. Like they were 6-6 heading into the top 10th. Like just haymaker after haymaker. Like
yes,
great. And it finally ended when Corey Seager hit a 2-run shot, and the floodgates opened from there. It was just the Dodgers basically just ran up the score after that, and it's kind of it's kind of unfair how the Dodgers have a roster that's like, I don't mean to sound biased or anything, but
Oh no, you're fine.
it really is like this team like can be in this tight like 6-6 game going into the 11th inning basically, and then still win a game by 5 runs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's ridiculous. And then they won, I think, 2-0 the second game. Mookie with the incredible diving catch to seal it.
Although the Padres have won the last 2 games.
They did. They won the last game of that series, and then they won last night. So the Padres aren't going away quietly. They played a total of 19 games this season. This is going to be fun. This is really going to be fun.
And I would say they're going to play a lot more in the playoffs, but it's not a guarantee. I mean, I can rant about the Braves. I think I got my rant out of my system with Orlando Brown. But my playoff predictions heading into the season was Dodgers, Braves, Brewers, then the Mets and the Padres play a one-off wild card game. And I like the Mets. Like, you're going to throw Jacob deGrom there. Like, I get the Padres have everyone imaginable, but Jacob deGrom is better than Darvish, better than Snell, better than my man's Musgrove. Shout out to his no-hitter. But
Darvish has actually been kind of a discussion lately among Dodgers fans, and like whether or not they should boo him for 2017. I'm over it because
you probably should boo him on the rival team. He screwed you over in 17.
Yeah, that's true too.
And
it's like. Did he prefer? We've had debates on the app before about the Astros and it's a real shame what happened, because I think both you and I do agree that this team really they could have won the World Series without cheating. They did not.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheat. Reminder that in the ALCS, their pitching staff allowed not 1, not 2, 3 runs in the entire series in Houston. 4 games, the New York Yankees scored 3 runs in Houston. They win that series, or they get to the World Series without cheating. So even if you say, well, Bregman, Correa, Altuve, they all hit better, so Yankees fans are fine. No, the Yankees couldn't score in Houston. If you're telling me that the Houston roster that won a Game 7 of the World Series on the road away from their trash cans, if they can win that Game 7, they can score more than 2 runs a game at home. So with or without trash cans. So I understand, and I've argued about it with Giles on the app, that there's really only one game that probably the greatest game ever played, one of the greatest games in World Series history, that Game 5. It's like 12-11, right?
Yeah, 11-12, something like that. I was really upset when we lost that one. I was
I think that's the only game you can sit there and say that the Astros needed to score a ton of runs, and they scored a ton of runs. Every other game, I think it's a reasonable assumption to say, hey, they win that game, whether they're on the road or at home, because they pitched very well. Verlander was great. Morton was great. I believe Keuchel was still on the team. He was great. Everyone in the rotation was great, besides that one game against the Dodgers. And then they win Game 7 on the road. And say what you will about small sample size. I've talked about it, and I think the Astros, they cheated. I get it, but I still acknowledge them as 2017 World Series champions. I still acknowledge Boston as 2018 World Series champions. I know Boston,
I don't think really cheated that much, and there wasn't really that much evidence that they did it in the World Series, so I kind of give them a pass. But yeah, I don't care about what happened in 2017. I think the only thing, I'm pretty sure this is with you, Darvish. I think it was you. No, it was Machado. It was Machado. Machado, when he left the Dodgers, he basically publicly said he would win a World Series before they did.
Oh,
and fans started chanting.
It's the Bryce Harper thing.
Yeah, and fans started chanting "Pay your bet" or something like that at him after the Dodgers ended up winning.
Folks are weird, man. Sports fans are weird. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up today. A little shorter than an hour. Last show we ran a little long, and of course next week. Oh my goodness!
Next week is going to be our draft extravaganza. We'll try to get more people on. I know we've been lacking in the guest department as of late, but we'll definitely try to get some people on here.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like the stream, subscribe to U Stadium, follow U Stadium on YouTube and Twitter. Follow us. I can throw our socials up in a second. Boom, that's not the right one. There we go.
There you go.
I'm at Mr. Splashman19 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Splash on the app. You got Jack _Mitchell _01 on Insta, Jack Mitchell on the app. Any last words before we wrap it up here?
If you're not on the app, join. Do it. We got plenty of stuff coming around. This is a great time to get involved.
Yeah, we got that big mock draft giveaway. You want your
Do you want an Xbox One or Xbox Series
essentially,
X?
Actually, no. The most important thing, do you want those chicken cutlets?
Oh yeah. Do you want those?
Yeah. when we eventually get like an intro song, it's gonna be me doing that section of it.
And on that note,
I'm gonna go back to my depression. I'm gonna go get COVID tested and stab myself later. Toodaloo, folks.